welcome back to another episode of the Royal Reset Podcast. So happy to be here, Your Majesty. How are you doing today? You're looking good. You're looking gorgeous. Tell me, Your Majesty, how are you? Well, I am so happy that you are here with me today, Your Majesty. It's so good to see you. So good to have this time to speak every single week. Go ahead and prop me up in your kitchen, in your living room, in your dining room, your laundry room, wherever it is that you need to do your chores this week in order to reset your life and prepare for the week ahead. I hope you allow me just an hour or so to inspire and motivate you to reach past your struggles for your goals and your dreams. Thank you so much for tuning in today. My name is Queen Maree, as you already know, and I am doing fabulous. And that is because of our discussion that we're going to talk about today. I have been entertained and I cannot wait to get into this series with you. Spoiler alert, we're getting weird today, okay? We're talking demons, we're talking angels, we're talking vampires, we're talking a book that's giving the grown-up version of Twilight. So there is your spoiler. Okay? Alrighty. So that's how I'm doing today. But before we get started, we spoke about some goals last week that you have for this week, this past week. We also spoke about the book that I'm reading right now, which is Psycho Cybernetics. And I gave you some homework. I want to know, did you do your homework? Did you achieve the goals that you had set out for last week? Tell me everything and go. I'm so proud of you. I am so proud of you. Again, I say it every week, but like, do you know how powerful and magnificent you have to be in order to set out to make the changes and do the actions that it takes to reach your dream life? So many people know what they should do, but neglect to do it because reasons. But you are strong enough to work past the fear, work past the uncertainty, work past the exhaustion that it takes to reach your goals. I am so happy and so proud of you for sticking with it, coming here every week and letting me know just how far you've gotten. If you haven't reached your goals yet, let me tell you that you will. As long as you are making progress every single day, as long as you are acting every single day, there is nothing that you cannot do. Trust and believe. I'm so proud of you. So proud of you. So for myself, I am I did great last week. So first the homework, because I did the homework myself. There were days that I forgot. There were days that I put on my shoes and I was there's no excuse. I put on my shoes and ran out the door because I was late. So when I came home that night though, I remembered. And so again, I take off the same shoe at the same time every single day. So I just took off the opposite shoe first and I said, and I affirmed myself, I'm going to be switching over a new leaf. I'm thinking positive from this moment forward. I know that all my dreams are within reach. All I have to do is reach out and grab them. My name is Jasmine Johnson. Good things happen to me, because of me, and for me. All things work out in my favor, dear God. show me how good it can get every single day. And yo, when I tell you towards the end of the week, so a couple of weeks ago, we talked about how I'm reading Think and Grow Rich, right? So this is my statement, right? This is my statement of what I want my life to look like in 4 years. You see the date, 6/30/2029, 4 years. And so I've been reading this every night and visualizing that after taking off my shoes. And yeah, I can feel it. I'm believing it. I know it in my heart of hearts that my goals are just within reach. I just have to keep going. Plus, Your Majesty, I started posting content again. Yes, crown with me videos, breathe with me videos, quirky videos, transitions, dance videos, the whole nine. I started posting again on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, the whole nine, which is really the only thing I need to do. The only action I need to take is to create and post. That's it. And I believe God, the universe, will take it from there. So just as I'm creating this and having this conversation with you, I'm creating that and having those conversations with the queens who have been following me for a while. And we're like, yo, what's up? I'm so happy you're back on my For You page. My favorite place to be. And then others who are just now finding me, who hopefully, because they found me, will start to hear every single day just how magnificent, how powerful, and how purposeful they are. And will hopefully, through that repetition of me saying that to them and then watching my videos every single day, will learn to believe it. Also, the way I'm setting up my content right now, as of the moment, I'm just reposting old content or drafts. But the way I'm planning to move forward is just as I am praying, meditating, journaling, practicing gratitude every single day. And this is improving my quality of life. I am setting up my content so that if you watch my content every single day, you too will be praying, meditating, journaling, practicing gratitude, practicing being in the present moment every single day. And so hopefully by watching my content, you'll learn these valuable skills and these valuable habits, and your quality of life will also start to improve. You see what I'm doing there, Your Majesty? It's fun. It's fun. And interacting with the queens again in the 4B Queendom, I love it so much. So yes, I've had a great week. Oh, and let's not forget, I am still in phase 1 of the Live Hard Challenge, which is the subsequent challenge to 75 Hard. And I am on day 16 today, still going strong. And guess what? Oh, I was supposed to look up, that was one of my goals. I forgot. We'll add it to next week. I was supposed to look up what the benefits are of taking cold showers, but Your Majesty, dare I say I'm getting used to the cold showers? "16 days in and the cold is just like, let's go. Ah, turn around, hit the back, hit the armpits. Okay, all the vital organs have been hit. Let's do what we're in here to do." I don't know. I think it started happening last week where I got in and I was like, I got that's why. Because most of the days last week I was late. And so I just had to jump up in there, get what I need to get done. So yeah, but yeah, I'm getting used to these cold showers. So I don't know. I do not know. It's looking pretty good, y'all. It's looking pretty good. So that was how my week went. Let's talk 4B Queen of the Week. This week's 4B Queen of the Week is Cassie Ventura. And every single woman who has been through the same or something similar, or who has ever been coerced into doing something against their will, just know that me, Queen Maree, I see you, I stand with you, I believe in you, and even though this situation didn't work out the way that we wanted it to, doesn't mean that it always works out that way. And even if it didn't work out in a guilty verdict, just speaking out has helped so many women who have been afraid to come forward. And because of that, I think Cassie and those like her and myself should be proud. Should be proud of the conversations that have been had over the last year or so, over the amount of people who have realized that what they're going through is wrong and have stood up for themselves, have fought back, or have gotten out. So even though that one piece of the puzzle didn't turn out the way that we wanted it to, just know that so many people have heard you, see you, believe you, and have been inspired by your strength and courage to tell the truth and come forward. So thank you so much, Cassie. We still stand with you, Queen. We still stand with you. Now, how to discuss this, because usually the next part of our conversation is what is entertaining me this week, right? But what's entertaining me this week is also our topic for the week. So we're just going to merge them together. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce to you this book series that I have been reading. Okay. I'm going to give you the lowdown. Alrighty. I'm going to use Twilight to describe this series to you because, like I said, it's a grown and sexier version, a growner and sexier version of Twilight, right? And then we're going to get into the lesson that I want to pull from this today because I just read it yesterday and it broke my heart. Oh, okay. And so I was like, oh yeah, this is what I need to speak to the Queen about tomorrow. Like, it was just like, ding, ding, ding. So first and foremost, let's talk about the series. The series started with Afterlife. And these books are written by a queen named Stephanie Hudson. Okay. Afterlife is a 12-book series. Books are written by a queen named Stephanie Hudson. Okay. Afterlife is a 12-book series. Who is the king of the supernatural world? The king. He rules it all, right? And the Jacob is the vampire, who is also the king of the vampires. Okay. He rules it all. And Bella, although she does develop feelings for the Jacob in this situation, she was always fated to be with the Edward because she is the Edward's what they call electus. And electus is your chosen one, your fated, it's like a fated mate type story, right? Like she is his fated mate. They are fated mates. He is her fated mate. They are fated to be together, right? Okay. So the first set of 12 books, Afterlife, was all about Edward and Bella getting together, but also about how in Twilight, Bella is just learning to about this new world and falling in love and then, protecting her child. But in Afterlife, the Bella in this situation is falling in love, but also she is fated to save the world. And the way she does it is by bringing each of the different kings together to work together in order to save the world, right? And so she does this because she's a gorgeous, feisty, beautiful, smart, intelligent, talented queen who all of them end up developing feelings for, right? So that's how they all come together, because they all come together for her, not for their king, the main king. Like these other these other six dudes are kings, yes, but like the Edward in this situation is the king of everything, all supernatural worlds, right? But you have the king of death, you have the king of the angels, you have the king of hell beasts, which are the werewolves in this situation, and so on and so forth. There's 7 of them total. And so in the end, she brings them all together. They fight the war and they win because they worked together. And there's a whole bunch more. Again, this is a 12-book series. So damn good. It's like Game of Thrones. There are so many different plot points, so many different interesting characters, so many different backstories and lives changed. And there's so much to this situation, right? It's not just Twilight. Again, it's a growner, sexier version of Twilight. It's goth as all get out. Okay. The vampires in this story do not sparkle. They are gory, demonized, bloody, and they will tear your heart out if it needs to come to that, right? Same thing with the demons, same thing with the angels, same thing with the everything that you see. It's gory, it's bloody, it's goth. Super duper goth. Okay? And I know you look at me and you're like, what are you reading? I thought so at first too, but everybody kept saying that this was such a good series. And I'm not one to back down from a challenge, okay? I survived the cat and mouse duo, Hunting and Hunting of Adeline, okay? I survived the Ravenhood series, okay? Cried my eyes out like a little, but I survived. So, of course, I wasn't turning my back on this, okay? And of course, when we started talking demons, I was like, oh, the Christian in me. Yikes. But unlike my grandparents, who stopped me from reading Harry Potter, by the way, I was on the first book right when it first blew up, just the books. And my grandmother was like, when you come and visit me this summer, you leave that devil worship mess here, right? So, unlike my grandparents and older generations, I can separate the two. Okay? So I separated the two. And I'm so glad I did, because the story is just so good. So many ups, so many downs, so many twists, so many turns. It's like the Vampire Diaries and originals. Like, there's so many plot twists, and you're just like, yes, good, juicy, delicious. Okay, so right now, I read Afterlife years ago. I started it when I started reading again. That same year, which was 2022, is when I fell in love with reading again. And I put off reading the last 2 books. I made it to book 11 and 12, and I put off reading them because I just did not want to finish the book. I didn't want to finish the series because it was like, it was so good. And like, I didn't want to say goodbye to the characters yet. Little did I know if I would have just, anyways. So I put off reading those until last year. Read those last year. And now here I am. I put off starting Transfusion for a year. Here I am. I'm in book 6 right now, smack dab in the middle of book 6. What is Transfusion about? Transfusion is another 12-book series that is a spin-off from Afterlife. So Edward and Bella, Afterlife is about Edward and Bella getting together, right? And it's about the Edward, who is the king of all supernatural world, right? And he has this nightclub, this gothic nightclub called Afterlife. Ding, 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 ding. Right? Okay, so that is their story, how Edward and Bella get together. At the end of Afterlife, Edward and Bella have a daughter. Yeah. And so Transfusion is about their daughter finding her chosen one / Electus, right? Except it ends up being the Jacob of the situation, right? There's no imprinting, there's no creepy imprinting here. Okay, cool. Like, this doesn't start until she's 27. She tried to start it at 20, but he was like, no, move along. I don't like you, pushed her away or whatever until she was grown and mature. Okay, so this isn't a Twilight situation. Okay, but it's similar. So that's why I'm using Twilight, right? So Transfusion is all about Jacob and Renesmee getting together. And Transfusion is the name of Jacob, who in this instance is a vampire, and the king of vampires, in his club, his gothic club called Transfusion. Okay. Here is where our meat and potatoes for our discussion come from today. Remember, I told you that in Afterlife, the Bella of the situation was fated to save the world by bringing together the 7 different kings. And the way she did that is because they all ended up catching feelings for her. However, she was fated to be with the Edward. Okay, that includes the Jacob of the situation. He caught feelings for the Bella, and those feelings were second to her feelings for the Edward. Like, out of all the 7 kings, if she had to rank them, she would have ranked it Edward Jacob, right? Okay. So Jacob was in love with her. She was in love with him, but it wasn't enough. Okay. Now, remember, I also just told you that he waited until Renesmee turned 27 in order to approach her. Right. But she knew that he was her chosen one, and she was his chosen one / Electus when she was 16. So at 20 years old, she tried to approach him. And because he was still too young, and these, like I said, these vampires and all these demons and angels, they don't sparkle. It's real nitty gritty, deadly type of situation. Your Electus is like your weakness, and so once your Electus becomes known, and only the kings have Electuses. Once your Electus becomes known, people will switch from coming after you and go after her, because they know that if they have her, they can control you, right? So he was trying to wait until she was mature enough to deal with being the queen of such chaos and such a kingdom. So at 20 years old, he pushed her away. The way he did it, heartbreaking, heartbreaking. And also, in doing that, he accidentally didn't mean to make this a part of him, the act of him pushing her away. But it became known to Renesmee that he will used to be in love with her mother. Of course, this devastated the Renesmee in this situation, right? Devastated her beyond compare, beyond belief, right? And so she leaves Transfusion, which is his gothic nightclub again, and goes home and is like, you know what? I'm going to go to Europe. I'm going to study archaeology. I'm going to work at the whatever that huge museum is in London. I need to get away from here because she's at home with her mother that she loves, but at the same time, her mother is the reason why she can't have her chosen one. She thinks. So she runs away. And the Renesmee in this situation is not demon, is not angel, is nothing but human. Or so we think. Because it's starting to become clear that she ain't human no more. But, you know, I'm only in book 6. Okay. Life goes on. She goes to college. She gets over her heartbreak. You know, she still like thinks about him all the time, but like she's working through her heartbreak, staying away from her family, throwing herself into the human world and her human goals and dreams. Okay. Then something happens where she ends up being thrown back into the supernatural world. And in being thrown back into the supernatural world, her and the Jacob in this situation reconnect, and he has decided that he's done waiting. And so he's like, you're my chosen one, you're my electus. She's like, you're my chosen one, you're my electus. And they consummate and they claim each other. Okay, gorgeous, beautiful, it's great. However, she cannot get over the trauma of 7 years ago, him pushing her away and him being in love with her mother. In his POV chapters, he's always saying that, you know, he thought he loved her mother, but in reality, it was just fate pushing him in order to help him help her and also keep her alive because her mother, child, that woman got kidnapped 11 times. And majority of those times she got kidnapped, the Jacob in this situation was there to save her. And he thinks he would not have put in all the effort, all the time, all the money. Because one time she was put up for auction and he spent a good chunk of change in the millions to buy her and like stop her from where she was intended to go, right? So he believes he wouldn't have done all that if he didn't have feelings for her. So he thinks it was the fates trying to trick him into taking care of her, keeping her safe so that she can give birth to what would be his electus in the future, right? However, niggas, he won't tell her this. He is afraid to tell her about his past with her mother and about his past in general because, again, these aren't sparkly vampires. These are vampires that are morally gray. And although he has changed since realizing that she is his electus and his chosen one, he's still afraid that she will run if she were to find out that this is his life, right? So It's a combination of her trauma and him not communicating. That's basically what it is. That had her believing mm, mm, that brought it to a head in a scene where she is accidentally in the library after having just gone through some mess. She's recovering in the library when both the Jacob and the Bella of the situation walk into the library having a conversation. They're having a conversation about how her and Jacob are together. And Bella has known since Renesmee was born that she was fated to be with Jacob. Jacob knew since Bella was 16, not Bella, Renesmee was 16. Renesmee knew since she was 16 that her and Jacob were supposed to be together. The only person in this situation who does not know is the Edward of the situation, and for good reason, because as soon as the Edward of the situation finds out, he's going to kill Jacob. It's not going to be like Twilight, where Edward and Jacob are. No, he's coming after him, and he's going to take him out, right? But for many reasons that I don't want to spoil for you, technically, one of them I can tell you because because Edward in this situation is the king of all supernatural life. Him taking out the vampire king and subsequently everybody that he sired, pretty much taking out the whole race, would be very kingly, you know? So there's many reasons why he technically can't unalive him. But still, we all know he's going to come for him. It's going to be a fight. It's going to be a blowout, and it's going to be glorious, right? And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So, in this scene, Edward and Bella are discussing how Bella has known this entire time, and Jacob and, see, I'm getting confused. I'm sorry. Cut that out. So, that's cut out one. So, in this scene, Jacob and Bella are discussing how Bella has asked him not to tell Edward, to give her time to tell him, to give, just don't tell him. And Jacob is like, I'm tired of not being able to claim my queen. I need him to know so that I can tell him. And in this scene, Bella touches Jacob's cheek, right? And is like, I understand how hard this is, but I need you to give me time. It was just a touch of the cheek, maybe a lean in. However, remember, the Renesmee of the situation is already in the library when they walked in the library having this conversation. And from her vantage point, it looks as if she reaches in and kisses Jacob. Not that she's just caressing his cheek, right? And the way they're discussing this situation, she's taking it as they've been having an affair. She comes out of her hiding place, blows up. I don't ever want to see you all again. Can't believe you're my mother, and runs away. But not before running into her father, of course, and telling her father that she just caught her mom kissing Jacob. And then the blowout fight we've been waiting for 6 books finally happens, but for the wrong reasons. So this is why we're here today. Because her and Jacob have had this conversation over and over again that he does not have feelings for her mother anymore. Her mother is not on her level. She is the only one he's ever truly loved, only one he wants. She is his, he is hers. They are fated to be together. the feelings that he had for her mother were not on the level that he has for her. However, she is still so traumatized by the way he pushed her away, and also finding out that the man you love is in love with your mama. I mean, it's understandable. It's understandable, but it's still trauma nonetheless. Although they have had multiple conversations about this, although they have had many arguments about this, although he has shown her over and over again that it is her that he loves and he chooses, she cannot let the trauma and the insecurities from the trauma go. And so when she sees this situation, she doesn't even stop to think maybe there's something else happening. Maybe what I saw wasn't what I saw. Maybe what I heard wasn't what I heard, because they never outright said that they were having an affair. They never outright said that they were sleeping together. And again, it was from her vantage point. She was behind her mother hiding. So when her mother reached in like this, it may have looked like it was a kiss, but it wasn't. It was just a cheek touch from friends, her really just trying to influence him and keep him from telling her husband, the Edward, of the situation, right? But instead of listening, she jumped to she, as in Renesmee, jumped to her own conclusions and ended up running away. And so right now in book 6, she is on the run, heartbroken, shattered into a million pieces. And I'm just like, this could have all been avoided with a conversation, but she doesn't want to have a conversation because her insecurities, her trauma is so far gone that she just believes what she believes and won't listen. She's hard-headed, and I am annoyed. So annoyed. So annoyed. So the lesson today from all of this is we've got to find a way to work through this trauma and these insecurities, because they will end up making our lives so much worse after the fact. Because right now, I was going to say his real name, we're calling him Jacob. Jacob is not pushing her away. Jacob is loving on her, treating her like the queen she is, giving her everything that she ever wanted. And she grew up as a princess, so she already had all the material ish. But all she wanted was to be a part of her father's world, and her father never could give her that because he was afraid that she was a human and would get hurt. But the Jacob in this situation is like, I'll give you that. And so he's been doing everything he could to show her that he's 100% for her. But she has it stuck in her head that she will never be good enough because she is not her mother. No matter what he said, no matter what he's shown her, she just can't get that through her thick, hard-headed skull. And the thing is, she's so smart. She's such a badass. Every single time they have attempted to kidnap her, like her mom, she is the one who saved herself. There was a time that they kidnapped her in a helicopter, took her away from Jacob. Jacob could not save her, right? She ended up taking out the helicopter pilot and bringing the helicopter down and saving herself. In book 6 of the Afterlife series, it would have been, by book 6, the Bella of the situation would have been kidnapped like, I want to say 8 times. We're in book 6 of Transfusion, and the Renesmee of this situation has had 8 attempted kidnappings, but only 2 of them have succeeded, and one of them she saved herself, and the other one Jacob saved her. Like, she's such a badass. She's so smart. She ended up going to school while she was trying to, play human. She ended up, well, she is a human, but, with her broken heart, playing human and stuff. She did end up going to school for archaeology. She's super smart, super intelligent. And that's why this entire book 6 is her on the run, because she has Jacob and Edward and Bella running around in circles because she's so smart, covering her tracks and things of that nature, right? But all of that goes out the window. All of that, all of her brains, all of her love, and the love that Jacob has shown her and told her, goes out the window when her insecurities take over. And so the lesson here is we've got to find a way. I don't want me, when I finally find my boo thing, to be so overrun with insecurities that I can't enjoy it. Not just a man, but like when I finally reach my goals, I don't want to be so overrun with fear and insecurities based on how I grew up homeless that I don't get a chance to actually enjoy it. And as we spoke about last week, I'm also reading Psycho-Cybernetics, because Transfusion is for fun, right? But Psycho-Cybernetics is what I have to read because of me doing the 75 hard challenge, right? Like, I have to read 10 pages of a non-fiction self-help book every day. And in that book, he says over and over again that there is a difference between fact and opinion. It is a fact that Jacob used to love her mother. It is a fact that Jacob pushed her away 7 years ago because he wasn't ready, she wasn't ready, and he wanted to give her more time to mature. It is not a fact, though, that her mother is better than him, or her mother is better than her. That's an opinion. It is not a fact that he sees, he trusts, and he loves, and he cares for her mother more than he trusts and loves and cares for her. That is her opinion. It is not a fact that he pushed her away because he still loved her mother. That is her opinion. Opinion that she came up with herself based off of the facts that she saw. Insecurities are opinions we have based off of the facts. So if you fail a test, the fact is that you failed the test, but your opinion of yourself that you're a failure, it's not true. It's not real. It's something that you have created in your mind, but it's not true. It's not real. We have to learn to separate the two. So, how do we do this? How do we overcome these insecurities and learn to enjoy life? Because really, these insecurities, what they do is they keep us trapped in the trauma years and years after the trauma has already ceased to exist. This ish happened to her 7 years ago. She's 27 years old now. And she's still trapped in that same traumatic situation. And it's keeping her from her happily ever after. It's so annoying. It's so annoying as someone from the outside looking in. But like, if I think about it, I also have my own insecurities that are ruining my ability to move forward in my own life. So how do we get over these insecurities and allow ourselves to not only move forward from trauma, but enjoy our lives? One, therapy. I'm going to say it every single time. Therapy. You need someone with an outside opinion, someone who's not in it, someone who is educated enough to help you separate fact from opinion, right? Therapy. If you cannot afford traditional therapy, BetterHelp, absolutely love them. They have a program for low income or um, and or uh, marginalized groups where their therapy sessions are slashed almost in half. So you're not paying $300, $400, $500 a month for once a week therapy sessions, but more like, what was I paying when I used BetterHelp? $120 a month for 4 sessions, one a week. I don't know, but that sounds like a steal to me. Therapy. Therapy. I cannot scream the necessity of therapy enough. If you want to get over your insecurities, work through your trauma, and in order to enjoy your life as it is today, trauma free, and move forward with your life, therapy. That's one. Two, we have to learn to, as I said, 2 weeks ago, when discussing Think and Grow Rich, we have to learn how to control our mindset. And that starts with affirming ourselves, right? So, Ayana Van Zant, Ivana Van Zant, I do not know how to pronounce her name. I'll put her name in the description. She did a interview where she said one of the ways she overcame her insecurities is through a simple exercise, right? And so I'm going to describe this exercise to you now. Grab you a sheet of paper, blank sheet of paper, lined sheet of paper, right? And on that sheet of paper, with a black pen or pencil, write down all of your insecurities. But when you're writing them down, leave space in between each one. Okay? Write down all of your insecurities. So for the Renesmee in our situation, I am not enough for Jacob will be one of her insecurities. Jacob loves my mother more than she loves me. It's so silly. It's so annoying. Oh my gosh. But that would be one of hers. Jacob loves my mother more than he loves me. Jacob trusts my mother more than he loves me. Jacob uh, doesn't want me. So not doesn't want me. Uh, yeah. Jacob doesn't want me. Those will be some of her insecurities, right? And then remember, you left spaces in between each one, right? With a different color ink. She wants you to write an affirmation that negates that insecurity. So instead of Jacob loves my mother more than me in our situation, it would be Jacob loves me for me and has no feelings at all for my mother. Write that in the space in between. Write those in the spaces in between each of your insecurities, right? Then with a red pen, cross out the insecurities. And every day, read through your affirmation lists. Read through what hasn't been crossed out. So instead of telling your mind, Jacob loves my mother more than he loves me, tell your mind, Jacob loves me for who I am and has no feelings at all whatsoever for my mother. When you wake up, before you go to bed, while you're eating lunch, put a copy on your mirror while you're getting dressed and ready for the day. Put a copy in your car, in your, what is that called? The little thingy above your, I don't drive anymore, but like the little thingy, or in your glove box, so that you can read, when you get in your car, or right before you're getting out of your car, when you're parked at work. Read these affirmations, repeat these affirmations every day out loud, so that your brain can hear them, so that the universe can hear them, so that they can start to rework and rewire your brain and have you believing the fact and not the opinion that you made up, that you are hurting yourself with. So those are my options that I give to help us overcome this, because I'm reading this book and I'm just so frustrated for her. I'm so frustrated for her because she is so heartbroken. The chapter I just read, she drunk dialed him because she missed him. And like he's a vampire, the king of vampires, so he has like all these powers and stuff, so he can like low-key jump into her dreams, right? And so he's watching her dream in her dreams, and she's like depressed and sad and feeling lonely and watching this old couple dance and like just feeling pitiful for herself. And it's like, you don't have to feel this way, girl. If you would just listen, stop letting your insecurities overtake you and just listen. You wouldn't have to go through this. Oh my God. Ooh. You know. But like, how am I up here talking about her when I be doing the same thing? And I know you be doing the same thing too. We've got to make a change. We've got to make a change. So therapy. Oh my gosh, therapy. And then yes, do Lana Vincent's exercise in order to work through that. On a third tip, I would say journaling and practicing gratitude will help with that as well. Journaling is a great way to get all this ish out of your head. Because when you get out of your head, you get out of your own way. Oh, a word. When you get out of your head, you get out of your own way. And the best way to get out of your head is to put it all on the page. So if you're journaling every day, everything that's going on in your head, and you're getting it out and putting it on the page, you're looking at it like, okay, so that just happened. And you're able to have an objective opinion about this situation you're going through. Yes, I would say journal. Therapy, journal, Ayana Vanzant's exercise on flipping insecurities into affirmations until you believe it. until you believe it, because I want to see me, I want to see you, I want to see the Renesmee of the situation, and her actual name in the book is Amelia. I want to see Amelia. I want to see all of us living our best lives. I don't want to sit here screaming at my book like, girl, you don't have to be going through this. You're putting yourself through this for no reason. I don't want to be doing this. So, yes, that is your goal for next week based off of this discussion, is to choose one of those. Actually, I'm going to choose for you. You've got homework. Do Ayana Van Zant's exercise. Write down your insecurities. Turn those insecurities into positive affirmations. Cross out the insecurities and start to repeat those affirmations every single day out loud so that your brain and the universe can hear that you are ready to make a change. Because it is time for you to let go of the trauma that you have been through. Work through that. Let go of it. You've been through that. You've grown from it. You've survived it. You are better because of it. And now it is time for you to live your best life. You deserve to live your best life. Let it go. Let it go. Do the exercise. I'm going to do the exercise too. And together, we are going to let our insecurities go. We are going to separate fact from our made up opinion. Get rid of that opinion and just see the fact for what it is. It happened, but it doesn't have to consume us. Get out of our own head so that we can get out of our own way. Yes. So, with that said, your homework is to do the exercise, come up with affirmations. I want you to do five insecurities. Write down 5 insecurities, flip them into affirmations, and repeat those affirmations every single day, on top of continuing the work that we started last week based off of what I read in psychocybernetics. I want you to continue putting the opposite shoe on your foot every single day and affirming yourself that you are going to start thinking positive, look forward to the new day in a positive way. Think positive as much as possible, more often than not, because it is time. With everything going on in the world, what the real goal is to have us thinking negative, bring us down, have us stopping and saying, well, if the BBB passed and is now law, then what's the point? Not today. Not today, because I know you thought that. Not today. Not today. We're going to think positive. We're going to work through our insecurities, and we're going to continue to walk in our purpose and do what we were put on this earth to do in order to help and be of service and make the world a better place, one step at a time. Yes? Yes. Alrighty. So, with that said, along with you continuing to think positive and continuing creating your affirmations, your 5 affirmations, tell me, Your Majesty, what are your goals for next week? That sounds amazing. That sounds amazing. And I cannot wait until next week in order to sit down with you and ask you how it went. I want to hear about everything, any setbacks you may have had, any roadblocks you may have had, anything that you accomplished quicker than you thought you would. I want to hear it all, Your Majesty. I look forward to our conversations every week. As far as myself, I am going to do my own affirmation list. I am going to continue to think positive and to spark that positivity by doing the exercise of putting on the opposite shoe that I'm used to putting on, and training my brain. I am also going to look up the benefits of taking a cold shower, which I was supposed to do last week, but I forgot. So I'm going to add that to this week. And I am going to, for the next week, I'll still be posting old content. Old as in reposting old content or posting drafts. So while I'm posting this old content, really diving deep into how I want to translate or go about making it so that once I start creating new content, that new content is something that will remind you to create good habits that will improve your quality of life. So if you watch my content every day, then you'll be praying, you'll be meditating, you'll be journaling, you'll be practicing gratitude. I want to figure out how I can go about creating content that'll help you subconsciously do these things. And so, yes, the best way that I love to create content is I like to post several times a day, but each of those times has their own time slot. So my 6 a.m. time slot is the prayer. My 8 a.m. time slot is the breathe with me videos, right? So once I get down what type of video I want to post at what time, then I'll know for next weekend, okay, I need to create 7 of these prayer videos. I need to create 7 of these breathe with me videos, etc., etc. So that the next week I can just, okay, it's 6 a.m., post a prayer video. It's 8 a.m., post a breathe with me video. You see what I'm saying? This is how I create content where I'm posting multiple times a day throughout the week and consistently. It's because I plan it out that way, and so that I know the weekend when it's time to create content, I'm creating 7 of these, 7 of these, and 7 of these, right? So my goal for this week is to figure out what those time slots look like for new content, because starting next week in 2 weeks, I want to start creating new content and posting new content. So yes, those are my goals. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. She was a long one. She was a little bit weird, but you stuck it in there. You stuck in there. You stuck in there. You hung in there. And I'm so glad that you did. I hope you got something out of this conversation today. And I hope you allowed me to inspire and motivate you to work through your insecurities so that you can improve your quality of life. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. And I will see you next week, same time, same place on the Royal Reset podcast. Alrighty. Bye.